Is the carnivore diet just disgusting? Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman, and welcome back to my channel where I review and debunk nutritional information online. Thank you for sending this video. This is going to be kind of the extremes. TikTok and a lot of the highlight reels that we see on social media will give us the extremes. And I think this video has some important points for how to deal with this kind of information. Please be sure to wait till the end where I give my final thoughts. I want to invite you to a free 7-day, no sugar challenge from Adapt Your Life Academy. This is the perfect jumpstart toward better health. The goal of this challenge is to cut out all sources of added sugar for 7 days and to limit your carbs to 150 grams per day. We will give you the full list of allowed foods. Making just one change to your diet eliminating sugar may not seem like a big step, but you'll be amazed at the impact this can have on your physical and mental well-being. Sign up to the challenge below. It's free.
Added a few tablespoons of some brown butter, added my cold brew coffee, some heavy cream, blended it up, and I needed a snack. I got some bacon. It was pretty good, but I had to get rid of this garbage lettuce.
Oh, TikTok. An app where you can think of the most absurd thing imaginable, and chances are there's somebody with 700,000 followers for doing it. I mean, we've seen some pretty peculiar things get people followers on TikTok, like that one lady who went around singing hound dog everywhere, or the guy who wastes food for a living. But one type of content creator that I've consistently never been able to understand are the TikTok carnivores. People who exclusively eat meat, no plants, no vegetables, and then for some reason feel the need to share it with the world.
Well, of course, always consider the source of where the information is coming from. I think August the Duck, the handle here, is just someone who does TikTok videos, doesn't have any particular diet agenda to show, and so he's found a lot of the kind of disgusting videos or embarrassing videos, puts them all together, puts them on TikTok. I have to say that I don't watch TikTok much, but a lot of people do, and so the extreme sorts of information gets the views, and everyone wants to watch the train wreck that's about to happen. So putting butter in the coffee was never something that appealed to me, and when people started coming to a low-carb keto clinic telling me they couldn't afford bulletproof coffee, it kind of got my attention because I'd never heard of bulletproof coffee. What I studied and what I taught for years did not have that. So it came out later. It was this internet keto that kind of happened. Oh, and carnivore is this other phenomenon that's happening right now that's in the low carb world, because you're not eating carbohydrates, and you do extreme things like this, I guess.
Now, I'm sure you guys know of the Liver King. You might have heard of Carnivore MD, but to me, those guys seem like they're putting on a persona. I feel like they might just be doing it for the views. But one person that I think actually lives the carnivore lifestyle just to live it is the TikToker. It's Courtney Luna. Now, we've talked about Courtney before, and I went on her TikTok page a few days ago to see if anything had changed, and it had, just for the worse.
Well, so can you sense the kind of bias? Everything's changed for the worse because of, I don't know yet.
Now, just a fair warning, I recommend that you really take a moment to physically and mentally prepare yourself for the most heinous, quote, carnivore recipes that this planet has ever seen. You've been warned. All right, let's begin. Please subscribe.
So I wanted to change up my coffee a little bit today. I added a few tablespoons of some brown butter, added my cold brew coffee, some heavy cream, blended it up, and it was kind of a disaster.
Just kind of a disaster? It looks like you accidentally used spoiled milk to create this. There is more butter than coffee in your coffee. I never thought I'd have to say that.
But you know what? It was pretty good. Then I whipped up some fresh whipping cream, Gotta be honest, it was a little gritty from the butter chilling, but it was really delicious. I'd do it again.
All right, so in a single cup of coffee, we have like 5 tablespoons of butter and then half a cup of whipped cream. Where's the meat? Okay, this is not only a ridiculously unhealthy coffee, it's not a carnivore coffee. You think a tiger is whipping up butter coffee? No, he's ripping up like a water buffalo. This is not carnivore.
Well, so what is carnivore? That's right. There are all different subtypes, and some people take it to the extreme, like he's saying that if a lion can't eat it or drink it, you shouldn't have it. So, of course, there are different versions, and the thing that's different here compared to what he thinks is the best thing is there's no plants. So having dairy for most people is okay because it's low in carbohydrates. Remember, the carnivore diet is a subtype of a low-carb diet, and a lot of science has been done on low-carb diets. The fact that it's disgusting, I went to college, had a roommate whose ancestry was from China, and they eat a lot of very different things than what I'm accustomed to. And if you've never had stinky tofu, this is, for the Westerner, something that's unusual, not so much for someone who grew up with it. So I don't think the idea of just because it's disgusting to you doesn't mean it's necessarily unhealthy. And what's fascinating is, of course, he's getting views for showing views of carnivores, which means he's getting benefit from these people doing extreme things.
It is hot as hell here today, so I am making my carnivore ice cream. I doubled my recipe, so I did 1 cup of cream, 2 raw egg yolks, and a pinch of salt. Whip it up and then put in your ice cream maker. You want to get it nice and thick. It took like about 10 minutes or so. And then I put mine in the freezer, or you can eat like this. It's like froyo. Of course, my ice cream scooper crapped out as I was doing this, but here you go, still delicious. It just looks a little funky.
All right, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure legally this would be classified as like quiche filling. Whipped up milk and eggs do not make ice cream. I mean, sure, that's like the base of a lot of ice cream, but still, this is not going to taste like ice cream. It's going to taste like frozen milk with a hint of egg. No sugar, no syrup, no flavoring of any sort. It feels wrong to call this ice cream.
Breakfast keto wrap. I took 2 slices of cheese, put them in my toaster oven for about 5 minutes. And then I scrambled up some eggs, I put that in there, and I cooked up some bacon and took little pieces of that. You can fill it with anything you like and then just roll it up. They hold up in the fridge really well, so you can make a whole batch for the week. Easy meal prep.
Okay, so this one isn't as much of a crime. I'm still not fully on board with making like a cheese tortilla. My main issue is that do you know what a combination of fried cheese, eggs, and bacon will smell like after a week in the fridge? You're gonna open up that Tupperware container on day 6 and nuke your house.
Well, certainly is fun to listen to. I'm pretty sure, though, they ate all of it, so there's nothing in the Tupperware container.
I've got the Halloween vibes. We're making my favorite carnivore candies. It tastes like caramel. You're going to take a stick of butter, cook it for about 5 minutes, stir it so the milk proteins don't burn, and then when it's nice and brown, don't be afraid to get it super brown. Then you're going to take it off the heat. You don't want it to keep cooking. You don't want it to burn. Seriously, do not be afraid of leaving it on long enough to get brown. Look at this beautiful caramel color.
So guys, I was following this recipe, but when I was cooking my butter, it got a little bit brown, and I think the recipe pretty clearly stated that it shouldn't get brown. What do you guys think I should do?
It tastes nutty, it tastes caramely. Literally my whole house smelled like C's Candy was making some caramel. So pick your molds. I got tombstones. I thought you guys would really enjoy those. So the brown bits are going to sink to the bottom. So you want to scoop it up from the bottom so they all get that nice caramel flavor. Pop them in the freezer. I leave them in the freezer because they're crunchy and chewy and so delicious, you guys.
Yeah, that's the entire recipe. It's melted butter candy. No salt, no actual candy. It's frozen butter. This is not the carnivore lifestyle. This is not part of the carnivore diet. This is like a recipe from the Great Depression. This is what families in the 1400s cooked their children so they could have something special when all they had was butter and milk, and you couldn't waste the milk.
Carnivore crack. It is very addicting. Melt 2 sticks of butter and you're going to brown it. It takes about 10 minutes. Be careful not to burn it. Take a small cookie sheet. This is smaller than a regular cookie sheet. Line with parchment paper. Get it all in there and top it with bacon sprinkles. Then you're going to stick it in your freezer for a few hours. After it's all set, you're going to pull it out and then just break it apart, just like you would with bark. You've got the caramelized brown bits on the bottom and delicious bacon on top.
This is somehow worse than the last, quote, candy. This is the first one that's made me feel physically sick. Think about what you're actually eating here. This would be akin to cooking bacon in a pan, waiting 30 minutes for the grease to solidify, taking a spoon, scraping it up, and downing it. This is vile.
Well, again, it's all what we're used to. Nutritionally, there are no carbohydrates in those, even in the pure butter tombstone candies. So if you like it, if you tolerate it, if you actually like it and want it, I don't see anything nutritionally wrong here. Have you heard any sort of legitimate nutritional concern yet, other than it's disgusting? I mean, I guess it's an ad hominem against the food, not against the person, although you're getting the undertone that this person doing this must be somehow bad or disgusting too. I don't know. If you like certain foods, I don't teach people the foods that I like, because that's not the point. It's not about me. I teach people about foods and carbs and protein. We're made of protein. Protein comes first. And here you're getting the fats here for the energy. We can run our bodies on fat or run our bodies on carbs, depending on what we fuel it with, what we eat, and that's our choice. So here, if having that butter candy kept you away from sugar that was giving you diabetes, that might be a choice worth making, and you might even like doing this. I don't know.
Have you guys seen this before? So apparently it's a thing in Scandinavia. You take a hot cup of coffee, cut up chunks of bread cheese, which is my absolute favorite. But you know what? I tried it. I didn't love it.
I mean this in the nicest way possible, but if a person who eats bacon grease candy and frozen butter candy tells you that something doesn't taste good, you better run.
Carnivore cheesecake ice cream. Take half a cup of cream, 1 egg yolk, and 3 tablespoons of softened cream cheese. I did not use salt in this one. Dump it in your ice cream maker and look how beautiful it looks. It's so delicious, you guys.
As a person who loves cheesecake, this one really hurt me. The amount of disappointment I would experience if somebody told me they made me some cheesecake ice cream and then served me this, I think it would break me. This one didn't even get salt. What did it do to you? What do you have against this ice cream? Not even gonna salt it? Not even gonna give it a chance? That's just cruel.
Easy little carnivore lunch. I had some bone marrow. There wasn't much left in there. And I had some cold brisket. I'm loving it cold. I don't know why. The fat is all soft and buttery. I'm loving it. And I also had a little bread cheese waffle bite.
Alright, so as gross as this looks, and as much as I don't like the thought of eating cold bone marrow and cold brisket, the problem with eating like this every day is not the taste, it's that everything that you're looking at is ridiculously high in calories and fat. I mean, that little thing of bone marrow probably has like 700 to 1,000 calories.
Well, that's interesting. I thought perhaps we'd get to the health ramifications of this, and he immediately talks about calories. Well, actually, when you're a fat burner, you burn the fat that you eat. And if you've heard me do videos before, you know that I could probably live on city barbecue brisket. It's so good. But that's just my taste and my palate. So while a lot of these things he portrayed doesn't really appeal to me, it doesn't necessarily disgust me. I once tasted a 1,000-year-old egg. I'm not going to do it a second time. But and the Vegemite or Marmite, it's not an American thing. But but that's okay. So you have to understand that people eat different things. Nutritionally, I haven't seen anything so far afield, nor have I heard anything other than it's high calorie so far. Well, the fat you eat when you're a fat burner is the fat you burn.
And then brisket is not exactly great for you either. It's slightly healthier than like pork butt. And then come on, fried cheese, do I really need to explain that one? There is absolutely nothing healthy about a diet like this, and I don't see how the people who eat like this think there is.
Yeah, well, let me help you out there, August the duck. Actually, protein comes first, and you can have a healthy diet without eating much from the plant kingdom, and it's just a different way to go about it. It is actually very therapeutic and healing for a lot of people to do a carnivore type diet. I think the long-term results really of any diet aren't known, although the long-term results of a typical American diet are diabetes, high blood pressure, people an average of 7 medications in someone who's age 65 in the US. So we all know that that's not a great diet, but I haven't seen anything so terrible yet.
I think it probably has something to do with age. It seems like all of these carnivore influencers, if that's what you want to call them, are in their like 30s or 40s. You can get away with a lot in your 30s and 40s, and there's still time for change. Eat like this every day until you're 60, and your heart is not going to be too happy with you. There have been countless studies, and it's always been found that eating a lot of red meat increases your chance of heart disease. I think the agreed upon statistic over the years has been that for every 50 grams of red meat that you are regularly eating every day increases your chance of heart disease by like 10%. Can you imagine the numbers if you're eating nothing but red meat?
Yeah, so that's not true. That's from nutritional epidemiology. Well, let's say it's a hypothesis. Nutritional epidemiology, where you ask people what they're eating, you follow them over time, is what we categorize in the evidence-based medicine world as hypothesis generating research. You wouldn't make a policy based on that research. What you want to do is turn it around, create experiments to really figure out what's going on, and experimental research, randomized trials, are what you want to have done to really know. And so he's using the old paradigm ideas that calories necessarily are bad and that red meat will cause heart disease. It's just not true.
I mean, I sort of feel bad for some of these people because they think they're being healthy and they've been told by people on the internet that they're being healthy. But eventually, I mean, it's gonna catch up.
I grabbed a hard-boiled egg as I was heading out the door. I stopped by Starbucks and I got a coffee. And then we drove down to the harbor. We cruised around. I needed a snack. I got some bacon. It was pretty good, but I had to get rid of this garbage lettuce.
I think this TikTok is really the cherry on the top for this video. You'll drink Starbucks coffee, but you won't allow yourself to eat some lettuce with your midday bacon. This is a big problem with the internet, man. I mean, it's taking normal people and radicalizing them in the weirdest ways. I can tell this lady is a smart person. She seems to have done research. It's that there's just so much bad research out there that otherwise smart people can be led into making bad decisions. No rational person without all of this false information coming from the internet is going to land on a lifestyle where they completely block themselves from being able to eat any sort of vegetable. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, well, actually, a lot of people are healing themselves, at least temporarily, by using a carnivore type of diet and making fun of somebody for eating or drinking coffee or eating something that's not like part of a cult, or lions don't eat that, so you can't eat it. Well, so we do live in a society grew up eating lots of carbs, and you're used to eating things. I think there's a false impression that you have to be perfect about all these things too, and that there's some sort of sin or cheat or something, when really it's just food. And I haven't seen anything too terrible here yet. Of course, I'm hoping that this individual has protein, which is the most important thing to eat. I thought the eggs were perfect. Eggs are a very great nutritional source of vitamins and minerals and calories.
Courtney, Miss Luna, if you see this, you saw my last video, I think. No hard feelings, obviously. At the end of the day, I really don't care what you eat. It doesn't affect me, but it does affect you. You're not going to listen to me because why would you? You haven't listened to anybody else, so I don't expect you to take my word over others, but if I can say anything, it's just that these millions of doctors are not lying to you. They do not have anything to gain from saying that eating red meat 3 times a day is not good for you. I mean, really? Like, what good for them would come out of lying about that, you know? But hey, you do you, I'll do me, and I'll have fun TikToks to watch, so I guess we all win, right?
Well, so I guess this was let's watch the carnivore make disgusting things and may have fun doing that. Well, people of a certain age feel compelled to put all their information out into public. If it didn't get on Facebook or Instagram, I guess it didn't happen. Sometimes that's not my personal way of living, but actually August the duck, this is not so disgusting in nutritional terms, although it might be in terms of what you are used to eating. It was entertaining, I think, but careful of all the ad hominems, it is sort of disdainful, if you don't eat plants all the time, I suppose. Hope you enjoy this. If you like, please ring the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on further content. I'm putting information out on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and check out adaptyourlifeacademy.com.